Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion, plays the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus. We're doing well. We got momentum, we got all sorts of positive things. Check it out, we got soy milk. That's okay, I wasn't really... 1 rate of fire and 0.51 damage. Am I wrong to think that that's not that bad? To start with, let me clarify, to start with. Why do I think it's not that bad? Well, hear me out here. Assuming that the tiers, like the fire rate scales the way you would expect it to, like a 1 means you're shooting 10 times as frequently as a 10. Really, our damage is equivalent, if you ignore knockback, which you definitely cannot do, to a 10 rate of fire, 5.1 damage run, which is above average. I'm not trying to say it's good, because again, the knockback is killing me here, but it's not horrible. You know, if we had a 1 rate of fire and like a 0.2 damage stat, I would be very afraid. But as is right now, especially given that we have 3 HP, I think this is worse than an average starting run. But soy milk carries some benefits with it nonetheless. If an enemy doesn't move, like that guy right there, you steamroll him with this stat right here. Like, this guy's done. He's melted. Told you. The flies are a little bit trickier. What are the other benefits? Well, if we get like Holy Light, we have an insane win condition like already mapped out for us. We get Explosivo, Snot Tears, anything that, you know, has a chance to apply uneffect to a single tier and we win, I think, or we have a chance to win. Okay, now I don't know what I'm gonna do with my wrist, because it's going to fall off by the end of this episode. Simultaneously, though, I'm so happy that I have a mechanical keyboard, so I can make the worst noises you could ever imagine and annoy you as much as I'm going to be annoyed by doing this over the course of this episode. Now, don't take this as a negative. The fact that we have, excuse me, sir, Tech X is insanely good, and I have an insane amount of congestion right around my Adam's apple right now. If you'll give me a moment. Ahem. The principal problem right now is actually that my damage is basically a product of my manual dexterity, which is always going to be a little bit of an issue. You know, it's a long video. You ever hear of something called repetitive stress injury? I don't suffer from it, but I am wary, you know, like, as nerdy as it sounds, I try to keep an ergonomic desk space. And actually, that's a good reminder. I'm gonna bring my chair up a little bit. You know, the elbow rests in the right location. Bring the mic up a little bit, sit straight. I don't want to have a bad spine for like 40 or 50 years. I'm gonna try. So I will endeavor to make myself as comfortable and my life as ergonomic as possible. Unfortunately, Tech X soy milk kind of flies in the face of that. We had to be a little scared there, but life goes on. I'm still very happy with where this run is. I think the Tech X pickup, above all else, I would rather lose my right wrist to injury than lose an Isaac run for a bad reason. And I'm only half joking, unfortunately. So I think that I'm happy with the way this went down. All that considered, I'm hoping we'll get some excuse to not have to tap the button endlessly over the course of this run. But it may happen, it may not. We need like a macro or like a turbo button or something. Because like when you rapid tap it, it's over. Like, it's like playing London, right? He got screwed there. Shouldn't have walked through that. We have 3 HP. Here's what you do. Yes. Yes. Now, speed. Do I want it? Yes, I do. Absolutely. I actually don't mind dying right now, but I'd like to wait just a minute. See if we can get into our item room. I feel a sneeze coming on. I feel it. It's in my chest right now. It's in my thoracic, and it's gone. It's gone. Oh, no, it's back in the tip of the nose. I think it's gone for good. I have to control myself, you know. This is the first day. Let's go. Range and shot speed. Exactly what you need on this run. This is the first day in a long time where I felt physically good. Not sick. What? So I've been recording a lot. But I owe it to myself to slow down just a little bit, you know? Not overdo it on the first day back. So I probably should stop recording after this. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. What are you, a cop or something? We're Cyber Dark Judas. 1.4 damage seems outrageously strong. That's also very helpful. I'm sorry, item room, but in the whole scheme of things, it wasn't worth it, but we still did really well on that floor. We should... Well, we're like 3 times as strong as we were on the first floor. That's before you even take Tech X into account. So I really do feel like we're approaching like kind of a new threshold for damage, considering Tech X and Soy Milk here. Certainly not the unweirdest run we've ever had. But that doesn't make it bad. Tears up, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's like the first time in my entire life I've ever seen a Tears upgrade pill and thought, that's no good. Doesn't happen very often. I did, I'll admit, you know, back in 2011, things were different. People were back in the Ouya on Kickstarter. It was a different era. I did think Tears was a useless stat temporarily. Back then, I was about 1 stat and 1 stat only, and I'm sad to admit that that stat was HP. I thought that HP was the only relevant stat in existence. I was basically an idiot. I still am, but in a more considered way. I didn't mean to give you a key. I'd like you to give it back, please. You did not? And you know what? That's on me. Well, we saved the key. So I'll take it. We got a great excuse to go to the shop as well. 1.77 damage. It's kind of a pipe dream. It might not seem like it, but I really think it is. If we could get up to 3.5 damage, I think this has the chance to be like one of the strongest runs we've seen in a long, long time. It's gonna take a lot to get to that level. It's also, I mean, gonna take a lot to drag me away from you. There's nothing that 100 man. I'll sing a little bit of it if you're gonna force my hand, but we're gonna need like we've already had a damage multiplier, so we just need like raw damage upgrades to get there. We don't need it to win. I actually think we already have the win, and that probably isn't actually very surprising. But if we can get a damage like a curved horn. I was just gonna say an all stats up trinket would also be good. This kind of works, but the thing is, Dim Bulb is actually it's not a very good trinket for us with Trinket Smelter. But we have to remember, even when our stats go down, it isn't actually our stats going down. It's our stats coming down from having been higher. So whenever we see a downgrade, it's gonna be tempting to be like, how do we solve this? Well, we could replace Trinket Smelter at some point. I don't know if this was worth it, by the way, but I thought it was kind of fun.
Invested?
And we will take Wishbone. But, oh, we've already been. The other thing is, we're still getting a bonus out of it. Just not very often. Oh, I didn't even know there was one over here already. My mistake. So we'll take Wishbone. Well, I mean, we might as well just smelt this. Speed gets ridiculous. Grab Wishbone. Let's get the heck out of town. Everything's looking just fine here. Been to both secret rooms. Well, we are at 2.58 damage when we have Dim Bulb. So that's already a little ridiculous. I don't know. We could blow those up, but who really cares? Say, like the same situation there. Is it a good idea? Yeah, it's probably a good idea to, whoops. Probably a good idea to grab a Spirit Heart for the cost of a bomb, but we're a little bit in the affluenza range right here. But we're like weird, like eccentric billionaire. Like we're not a dude who bought a cotton gin back in the 1600s and has just preserved his wealth while he's passed it down to his family. We're like the dude who invented the pet rock. This run is like, man, that guy's worth like $1 billion. Well, he's probably not worth $1 billion. He's wealthy enough for having created the concept of a rock. It's like when we were in my hometown, we went on this thing called the Thousand Islands Cruise. It's a cruise through the St. Lawrence River. There's all these mansions. Some of these mansions take up an entire island. And I'm not talking an island the size of, like, Japan. You know, which is a cluster of islands in and of itself, I suppose. Or Hawaii. You know, it's like an island that's maybe a few hundred meters around. It's not huge. But they're all exceptionally wealthy. So there's one guy, and the moral of the story, not the moral of the story, but the urban legend is the guy who lives there, he's the guy who invented the tree air freshener. You know, like the green tree air freshener. And everybody that I've ever talked to about him has like a story. And I have no idea if these are true, by the way. So I probably should not repeat them. I don't even know if that's the dude who lives there, or if anybody lives there at all. But people are always like, oh, we gotta take it. It's gonna be so weird. Look at that. People are always like, yeah, I did some landscaping work for him, and he's a real jerk. I hope that story isn't true. I hope the guy who invented the pine tree air freshener is a very nice gentleman or lady, and you know, they live their life in a way that's, you know, it pays it forward to the people around them. But I also kind of, in my head, love the idea of the guy who invented something as inconsequential as the pine tree air freshener being a real jerk about it. And being like, don't you know who I am? I invented the pine tree air freshener. You're the dirt underneath my Balenciaga. Should have said Christian Louboutin, but I don't know if they make men's shoes. I honestly don't. Not that he couldn't wear any kind of shoes that he wants. After all, he's the guy who invented the freaking pine tree air freshener. Sock it to me. I'm out of here. Dude, this one is going to be a challenge not to just, like, forget what's happening on the run with, if that makes any sense. We have such an unbelievably strange combination. Oh, my lord. And an assortment of weirdo items. By the way, maybe the first time in my entire life I've ever thought that slow worm was worth it. It is extremely rare for a run to get this weird this early. We have gotten like 5 weird items that synergize. This is a new world. I'm excited. Afraid, but also like highly excited. Like, nothing can stand up to... We might do the void on this run. And by the way, you're like, well, that's a little presumptuous. No. We're gonna make it. I promise you that. Not nearly good enough. Nah. HP, are you kidding me? This is a new era. We need Zane. It's a great item. You already know that I appreciate this item. Sadly, that's not gonna do anything for us. Even though it could be good. In other contexts. Lazrags, unnecessary. Why not? This will be weird. It was probably not the best choice, but what are we gonna go with? Sad Onion? Oh, you want a Nun Tears upgrade? Dark Bum? And we were already killing it on Spirit Hearts. I expect to take very little damage. That Hubris could get me, but again, I don't want to, like, spoil it for you, but I don't think it's gonna. I think we're relatively set here. We got so many trinkets, too. Devil? Magician. Wheel of Fortune. Ace of Spades. I think I'm just gonna Ace of Spades all of these. We look like we're marketing like a bloody brand of cereal. That's what's happening here. Well, Emperor, please. Close enough. At 12 minutes and 30 seconds... Thank you so much. We are going to be heading down. Didn't need to do that, but sure. To Boss Rush. Why not? Which is kind of amazing when you consider that we started and, like, our first floor, some of those rooms took us like a minute to do. So we have made insanely great time here. And I'm feeling intimidated. I'm intimidated because a run of this quality demands a commentary of an appropriate level. And I don't know, I'm so sick, cough cough. I don't know if I have the chutzpah to bring it. I'm anecdoteless. What I will say is, I'm hot off the presses. I don't know if that's how you use that expression. We just did a roundtable podcast with Edmund McMillan to talk about his Kickstarter game. Be honest with you, I was a little busy this week. Probably should have done a little bit more homework about the Kickstarted Isaac Four Souls card game. But I left... Well, it gave me a unique ability to go into the interview and be like, hey, I have no idea what you're doing with this, but I like board games, and I have a familiarity with Isaac. I'm not sure if you're aware. Tell me more. And I left being like, oh, I can't wait to pick that up. I don't know how long it's going to take to come out, but it's going to sound like a sponsored post now. But you can check it out at foursouls.com, or just search Kickstarter for The Binding of Isaac 4 Souls. He was saying all the right words. He said, slay the spire. I wanted tough love. He said, slay the spire. He said, Machi Koro. He said, Dominion. You know, these are board games that I like. These are good games. Ta-ta. These are good games. Ta-ta. He said, Dominion. He said, Coup. He said, Munchkin and Magic 2. Those are good games. Ta-ta. Those, I'm back, baby. All right, get crushed. To an extreme degree. Compromise to a permanent end. You stand no chance. Give me a lump of coal, dude. I've earned it. Oh, you're a god. Thank you so much. Ancient Recall again. Oh, my lord. Hermit, Empress, World, Fool, Emperor. So I'm going to take Emperor. But, we're going to do this room the old-fashioned way. I think we don't need Booger Tears, right? Like, they don't do anything? We're gonna go Mystery Egg. It is me, so it seems appropriate. I'm really just doing this for the item and also for the vine at this point. Because it turns out this run is pretty good already. What happened here? Why do we have another us? Oh, because of Incubus. That's actually not even like, that's not even me being, like, missing something small. That's a huge change for us to have two Incubus. Well, us, and then also there's Incubus. Incubus. That's why they call it that. It's a mesmerizing run, you gotta admit. We have, like, the way that it works with Dim Bulb, we basically have a bookable aisle that activates half as frequently as we would like it to. We get a big damage boost once every 3 waves. What are you? Okay. Ball of Tar. It's fine. Certainly not amazing. This is a rarely synergistic run, you know? Like, this is like... I don't want to throw out the phrase 1 in 1,000, but this is like a 1 in 250 run, legitimately. Oh, absolutely. So our raw damage is at 2.34. Still trying to get to 3. It's somewhat unlikely, but dude, the whole world's ahead of us. We are absolutely gonna go to the Hush fight. Like, at this point, maybe I should get some more money before we go to the Hush fight. We have the item rooms there regardless. But I don't think the Hush fight is going to be hard at all. And I'm hoping I'm not going to eat my words on that one, but I'm pretty sure that I'm not. Dude, look at the size of this enormous egg. I have to share a moment of personal reflection with you, by the way. I live in Canada. The Public Broadcasting Corporation up here is called CBC, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. Get it? They were doing a poll of, like, what's the most famous landmark in Canada, or what's the best landmark in Canada. And the finals of the poll came down to a big old moose in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, versus a big old egg in Manitoba. And I saw the poll, and without really thinking, and it's a quiet, like, small town thing, right? Without really thinking, I retweeted the poll and said vote for egg. And then, like, you know, 2,000 people voted for egg and like 30 people voted for moose. And then at first I was like, ha ha ha. I have a meager amount of reach, isn't that funny? And then later, and this is not a joke, I was actually like a little melancholy. I was like, man, I really feel for the people in Moose Jaw. Maybe there's like, I'm not expecting like adults were that invested in it, obviously, but maybe there were like kids in Moose Jaw. And they were like so excited. They're like, I hope our moose wins the CBC poll and gets featured on TV as, you know, in other news, Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan was named Canada's #1 blah blah today. Instead, some idiot on the internet was like, people call me Egg and Egg's in this poll, vote for it. I had a moment of like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. It's mostly washed over me now. I realize it's a relatively like harmless thing to have done. But still, I am kind of like, I should have just... shouldn't have done that. It's like I compromised the integrity of the election. So if you voted for Egg, thank you. But I'm too old to be getting myself involved in stuff like that, you know? When you're a young content creator and like for the first time in your entire life, people care what you say, it's okay to be enamored with your level of influence and be like, vote Egg. When you're approaching 30, still funny. I'm not going to deny that there's a level of humor, but it was unnecessary. So I'd like to apologize, like, personally to the members, not only of Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, but also, like, you know, if you live in the Manitoban town where that enormous Fabergé egg is, well, I apologize as well, because your monument, you know, may have won in an honest fashion, but instead have tainted the integrity of the poll and led to a situation in which you might feel that you won for the wrong reason, you know? I'm being like a little sarcastic, but at the same time, this is how I genuinely feel. This is just how I talk when I'm sick. Being sick is a great time to admit something as well, because if you ever find like the gaze of public attention is turning to you, you can just go cough, cough, and then they're like, oh, right. I hope we're still mad in 6 days when you're over whatever you've done. We probably won't be, because somebody else will have taken the heat off you by then, but still. Thank you, Norovirus, for your plausible deniability. Okay, hear me out here. I'm not gonna go do the Void for recreation, because there's no recreation to be found on the Void. What I will do is do the Void if it shows up after the chest. That doesn't bother me at all. But I want to do the chest. I want more items. I want to see where our synergies lie. Let me out. Dude, I think my hand is actually getting tired. Like, I just can't shoot as fast as I used to. And now I'm realizing that is not what the problem here is. The problem here is that we have dim bulb. It was a little tiny boy there. And I forgot that we get a stats down relative to our, you know, main stat when we have dim bulb. But by the way, next level Isaac strats. Your boy in his head cannot see where Sack Dagger is. I just charted it in my mind and was like, this is where it is, this is where it is, this is where it is, we killed you. Dad's key, please. Okay, this is very strange. Yes, absolutely. Let's get weird, mama. And then the coup de resistance. The pièce de resistance. So now we have... Well, in a way, I actually feel bad. Because we've made the run less zany. But it still is, like, pretty zany. We're like the boss in a Japanese bullet hell video game now. Like, 1% of the screen is safe at any given time. We don't need to charge up the full. It's kind of helping out my wrist, to be honest with you, as well, so I'm not sweating it. Dude, I love that the shots get larger thanks to the lump of coal as well. This has been my favorite run in a long, long time. We've had some good ones recently. We've had some cursed ones as well, but, you know, of the same name. This one is a lot of fun. And it started weird and it stayed weird, like Portland. Instead of starting weird and then getting a little corporate like San Francisco. I'm just joking. That being said, I know nobody watching this lives in the Bay Area anyway, and if you do, teach me how you made $1 million, please, because I would like to know. Oh, hard work and success in the tech industry? Never mind, I was hoping it would actually be easy to implement. My mistake. I thought you had some easy answers for me. It's sad, it's bittersweet, it's melancholy to do a run like this and know that we're going to have to say goodbye to it. Unless we have the Void, in which case we'll probably be happy to see it go by the time it's over. No Void. Really fun one. Goodbye, Soy Milk. Goodbye, TechX. Goodbye, Brimstone. Hopefully I'll see you next time. But for now, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.